Each afternoon, real setups are broken down with entry strategies and the technical reasoning behind every trade. This is today's best trade setups with Verified Investing.
Welcome to today's best trade setups. My name is Benjamin Poole, head trader here at verifiedinvesting.com. Yesterday, we had a couple of trades for longs that actually stopped out yesterday, and that's kind of part of trading. Some of the short levels did end up working out. However, we had the markets drop substantially in the pre-market and coming down into some key support levels. A lot of market movers that are continuing to drive the markets down. SanDisk was down as much as 15% today. NBIS was down majorly, got a nice bid to the upside. Google had a great gap fill. Microsoft. Here, we're going to jump right into the charts. We're going to cover the S&P 500 to identify where the support is and where we can expect a market bounce or a continuation move to the upside if the markets continue to rip. Okay, so the S&P 500, a couple different levels that I was monitoring. If price action stays below $748.17, that is signaling weakness in the S&P 500. My long level yesterday was $740.99. As you can see, we've already gapped below this level today, and we're creating a lot of weakness. Now, we did have the green bar candle open, rallied up to this low pivot point, and now we're continuing a little bit more of a sell-off. So my long level today would have been this previous gap in the chart sitting at $733.62. However, since it's already filled that gap or pre-gap, what I'd be looking for is this previous gap right here in the charts for a long play on the SPY. Let me go ahead and readjust that for you. Dang it. All right, let's try that again. All right, here we go. $731.58 is going to be a key support level. Not only do you have this previous gap in the charts, but you've also got this low pivot and a secondary low pivot right here. Price consolidation in this area. What I'm loving about this type of market is there's volatility. One of the reasons that you really need volatility in a market is because it gets people trapped. So what do I mean by it gets people trapped? Well, you had people who were stuck at the all-time highs at $759.54. Once you get this sell-off, after it pushes back up, all these people who were bullish on the stock now have an opportunity to exit their trade at a break-even or slightly out of the money. And that's why we could get these continued sell-offs. Now, on the other side, there are still these people who were stuck long who see this continued sell-off. And so what they're looking to do is either exit the trade so that way it doesn't go against them, or dollar cost average. So this is one of the reasons that support levels work on the way down as well. But you have to have volatility because that allows people to basically unstick themselves or buy the dip if it gets into those levels. The SOXX volatility. As you can see, we had this nice sell-off from this basically hangman candle, nice drop. Volatility started to increase. Now all of a sudden we had another hangman or spinning top or whatever you want to call it before this huge sell-off. If we get a little bit more of a move to the downside, $599.73 is your long level on the SOXX. That is a nice gap in the charts before this extended move to the upside or secondary extended move to the upside. The level or the line in the sand that we're looking at, low pivot here, secondary hit, kissed it here, third hit, fourth hit, fifth hit. This is your level. If we get below 599.73, your next level of support is going to be 590.71. So if you're a little bit more conservative, look for that level. I will say, though, that is getting awfully close to potentially breaking this upswing trend line. Once this upswing trend line breaks and continues the move to the downside, then we're going to see a major move in the SOXX and a lot of the semiconductors, and they're going to sell off substantially. Let's go ahead and jump into the USO chart. Usually when price or the USO drops, the stock market rises, but they're both kind of dropping together. It does look like a green bar candle, but that's only because it opened up lower and it's getting up a little bit higher than when it opened. What I'm eyeing right here is $108.10. So that is really your level on the USO chart for a long play on this chart. Microsoft had a nice drop, did not get down to my $366.82 level until post-market. Did hit this gap or this nice support level, had a nice bid to the upside. as you can see, we're still continuing the selling pressure in Microsoft. Even though we are slightly higher, the bears are fully in control. So once we get below $366.82, then all of a sudden it opens up the door to a retrace of this downsloping trend line. And this would be a secondary retrace of the breakout. Once this gives, though, you have to look at the $344.70 level. You have a major pivot in the charts right here from the lows of the 7th of April, 2025. It would have taken over a year to get back into that level, but it's going to be a ton of support because that was the bottom on the tariff news. Amazon would have been a stop out on the chart yesterday. I did mention a couple different long levels. My first long level was $233.65. It did flush that level. Never got to my secondary level or my less aggressive level at $231.82. But from this level, had a nice bounce, over a 2% bounce. Now we're continuing the selling pressure. So this $231.82 level, low pivot in the charts, is no longer my support level. I would actually be waiting for this previous gap in the charts right here for a day trade. I would actually wait for a $230 pierce, and then I would be interested in going long on Amazon today. Again, that's a 230 level pierce, and then I would go long AMZN today for a day trade. Google, another different level that I gave yesterday. And I said, if it did close below this by 230, then look for the next level of support. And that was at $241.68. Look at that bounce. If you guys are not paying attention to previous pivot tops, previous gap fills in the charts, this is something that I would have on my radar, especially if you can get a lot of additional price consolidation right in this area. As far as resistance, breaks out, comes back in and retests it, and that's where you get your bounce. If you took this trade, congratulations, you made some money on the chart of Google. If you had my first level, if you were long, then you would have stopped out on any closing basis on a 15-minute closing basis. Netflix, wow, $73.49 was my level yesterday. Got a nice continued fall, but this is why we have stop outs. Sometimes your stop out levels will hit on a 15-minute closing basis. You would have stopped out of that trade and avoided this continued selling pressure. It was only a 1.46% move to the downside after my long level, and it even flushed this to a $72.49 level as my secondary support level. Major pivot in the charts, previous pivot high wasn't a gap in the charts. However, this was a definitive support level that just crushed. And if you're going really heavy in a trade, exiting a trade is still a victory because it minimizes the amount of loss that you take if the stock wants to break through support and or resistance. And so that is why we have stop outs in the charts or in these trades. Palantir, again, you may have gotten a little bit of a bounce on Palantir, but not much. Now that we're below this $119.91 level on PLTR, let's identify where the next gap is. And that's sitting right here at $118.46. We're below that. So we have to identify where the next level of support is. So my next level of support, if we get a continued drop on Palantir, today would be $110.48. All right. So that's what I'd be looking at. SanDisk got up to $2,350 yesterday. This had already kissed this level by the 230 level. So unfortunately, nobody would have really gotten into this trade if you would have seen this live or after the recording happened. Good sell-off, topping tail in the charts, volatility. Now we're starting to see signs of weakness in SanDisk. My long level today, if we can drop a little bit more, now that we've already filled this gap at 1958, my long level would be 1938, whole round number. If you're a little bit more conservative, wait for a pierce of that level. Your stop out is still on a 15-minute closing basis below that level. And then you would look for another aggressive level, which would be another gap in the charts at 1882. But for me, if it does break this level, I'd be looking for 1831.50 for another support level on the chart of SanDisk. MU never got to my 1228 level. However, now after this sell-off with volatility, your not long level is going to be 1043.19. This is where I'd be looking to pick up MU for a quick scalp. Once that level does break, we're coming back below $1,000. And here's this gap at $981.41. And this is the area that I would look to play it coming into the next couple of days on MU. All right, now I'm going to show you my watch list. AMC is down. I wouldn't trade this. FLNC, let's see if we've got any levels here. You have a previous gap in the charts sitting right here at $21.60. So if it does get to this level, this is your first aggressive level. For a little bit more conservative traders, wait for $21.31 for an additional level. If you're even more conservative than that, and this hits $18.89 in the next few days, keep this on your radar. It's going to be a solid gap in the charts, and that is where you should get a bounce based on a technical basis. WDC already filled this gap this morning at $653.53. As you can see, we had this nice rally to the upside, but we're continuing weakness, similar to what's going on with SanDisk. So once we break this level, this is the level at $594.60 that I would be looking for a long play on WDC. CRDO had this nice push up yesterday, got as high as 307.54, actually a little bit above that, filled the gap. CRDO is exercising a lot of weakness today. My gap in the charts is sitting at $249.33. If we can get down to that level, that is where I'd be looking to go long for a day trade on CRDO. VRT has this nice gap, $317.58. So let's go to the 1 minute time frame really quick to see what price action did. Got really close to this level. Got a 4%, almost a 4% bounce. This is telling you that there's still some support at $317.58. So if you're aggressive, that is your level to go long on VRT. Once it does close below that on a 15-minute closing basis, then you look to stop out, and then your next level of support is basically below $300. Now, you are going to have a ton of support in this area on VRT, but the next level of major support, which would be the gap fill, would be $299.50. Again, something to keep on your radar if it continues to drop. STX is having a nice fall today as well. Did have a nice bid from the open. For me, if STX does drop a little bit more, now this would be a $70 drop, an additional $70 drop, and it would be about a 14% drop today. $931.85 would be that long level for me. All right, now let's see what's moving to the upside. Really, we have the SOXX, VIX, the UVXY, VITL. If you're aggressive, $11 on VITL would be your shortable level, but look at how beaten up this thing is. This is something that I would stay away from. Viking Therapeutics has a nice short level at 35.41 or 42 that's already played out. So because this level has already been taken out, what I'd be looking for is a nice push to the upside, $36.46, red bar candle high, as well as all this price consolidation. And so VKTX, Viking Therapeutics, that's where I'd go long today. Conagra Brands, nice push up today. IBM, okay. So here's this level on IBM. If IBM can make this nice push to the upside, you have this nice gap right here at $270.81. That is where I'd be looking to go short on IBM today for a nice quick scalp. All right, a lot of different levels on the radar for you guys. Let's see if some of these things can either continue to pullbacks or the ones that we're looking to short can go up a little bit higher. I did mention NBIS, so let's go ahead and jump into NBIS. This thing had this huge surge to the upside. It opened up and sold off. I was eyeing this previous pivot top at $246.86. Now we're trading at $275. Every once in a while, you'll get these massive moves because there's news that they're getting added to the QQQ. And that's what happened with NBIS. Go ahead and get rid of all this stuff on the charts for you. Here we go. What you identify is a gap in the charts. So I actually started trying to trade this at $283.53, knowing that I had all this additional resistance on the way up. So my max upside today was about $298.20. But look at this sell-off. After this huge surge to the upside, you have this nice pullback. And now we're actually negative 2.86%. This is the type of volatility. If you get volatility in a price or in the markets, this opens up a swarm of opportunities for you. So now that we've got this, let's hope we can get more of it so that way we can take advantage of these moves either to the upside where we can short them or into some support and we can go long. So there's always a different way to play a a stock, depending on the volatility and the movement. We'll see you guys next time in the charts. Oh, please make sure you're smashing that like button. Go ahead and follow, subscribe, ring that bell so you can get notified when these videos drop. We'll see you next time in the charts. You guys have a great rest of your day. Take care.